Welcome to Processes Reimagined, Time Regained, with your host, Fraser Nicoll. That's me. Welcome from whatever chair you're on, whatever room in the house, wherever in the world, whatever device you're watching it on. I'm really grateful you've come and chosen to listen to me. Before we get into it, I want to give you a little bit of an insight into who I am. My life has been spent in product management, which essentially means I tend to be the person that understands the customer, understands what the market's doing, and then makes sure that gets translated back into a business so they really understand what the true value is they're trying to get to and help everyone understand that along that journey. I have 4 kids from the age of 21 all the way down to 5. Yes, you've heard that right. Life is never boring. And my major passion is film and TV. I'll get lost in it for hours. It's the only way my brain will switch off. I'm always good for a recommendation and always looking for the next one to watch. I also tell some horrendous dad jokes. Sorry. So during my career as a product manager, I have noticed so many times again and again the businesses and the inefficiencies that go on within them. And I've spent my career going, there must be a better way to do this. Now, over the last few years, technology has really started to catch up with us, and I've made it my mission to try and make it accessible to as many people as possible. And what I want to do in this talk is remove the fear of that and what that might mean for your jobs. And at Uncommon Solutions, our mission is to get our customers back to what they do best. You probably already have access to the technology we're going to talk about, and what we do is streamline those processes so you can come out of the weeds and really get back into the business and deliver much more value. And a much bigger impact. The jobs we talk about are the real critical ones the business cannot function without, but also probably not the thing you dreamed about when you were at school as a kid thinking about what you're going to do when you're older. So what I'm going to talk about is the potential of the Microsoft Power Platform, and if used correctly, how it can make you even more successful in your own business. People fear automation, and that is generally around that people are scared of things they don't understand. I love simplifying the complex. And what I really hope you get from this is you'll see the opportunity that awaits you when you get back to work. When Lucy asked me to come and present, I was very open to say I'm not an expert in executive assistants and their roles. I spent a lot of my career being supported by them, but I really didn't understand day to day what it was you got up to. I didn't realise how crazy important you are. And I wanted to make sure that in putting this presentation together, I understood what you were there for. You're there as the strategic business partner of your line manager. If she or he gets hit by a bus, who are they going to go to?
You remove the burden. You are their backstop. You pick up the slack when they can't, and you enable them to actually drive the business forward and deliver a better future for everyone.
You're continually mimicking what your boss is up to, making sure you're one step ahead of them. Always on the ball, making sure you're doing stuff before your boss even realise this stuff needs doing. And overall, just reducing that burden from CEOs and executives so they can get back to what they are supposed to be there to do, and that is drive that business forward. Without you, that doesn't happen. And you do all this for significantly less than your boss. You are paid to save your executives time.
Your salary is justified by the amount of time you save your boss. The more time you can save them, the more you should be paid. You enable them to get on and do what they're good at, while you get on and do what you thrive at. And that is good for you, that's good for them, and that's good for everyone else in the entire business.
So let's pause there for a second and just think. If we can automate some of the things you do day to day and give you more time to support your executives, that makes you more valuable. Could automation actually raise your salary? But how do I explain to you how this would work? I'm not an expert in executive assistants, and I really wanted to put a process in front of you to all understand and then show you how we can transform it. I found online so many statistics about your roles. And when you do your research and you speak to people, you find the top things that everyone seems to get involved with are diary management, expense management, general administration, travel management, assisting your HR people, and the one I chose to focus on, event management.
So daily at the moment, you are probably chasing people down to move a meeting around. You are probably being chased around by a bunch of other people who want time with your boss. You're chasing receipts from your executive and maybe your senior leadership. You're then making sure you enter that information into a database and then probably communicate with finance to find out when that'll get paid. You're writing up minutes to meetings you weren't even in, making sure files are saved in the right place so people can find them later, and then as well looking for files that other people have filed in the completely incorrect place. Does that sound like a great use of your time?
If you're stuck in the weeds all day dealing with these, how are you being that strategic business partner to your boss? How are you really helping the business move forward? And that led me to my question. How can technology alleviate the burden on you so you can get on and do stuff that's even more valuable? And like I've been saying all along, how is that actually a good thing? But I don't want to make it too complex. Most of us don't speak code. So how can I simplify this down so everyone understands? And unfortunately for you all, I'm a bit of a superhero nerd, so I've used superheroes, but other analogies are available. I'm really sorry if this actually complicates it even more. But I will also give you the context so you understand who the superhero is and how it all works together. So we have what I mentioned earlier as the Microsoft Power Platform. And basically what that is a title for 4 apps that sit underneath it. Microsoft's goal was to bring automation to the people, enable you, me and everyone to be able to actually do automation ourselves. The way current software is developed, there's many problems with it. It's a huge investment. There's always ongoing support needed. If you're not happy with your development team, it's very hard to go and get a new one. If you want to update it, you actually need a specific skill set to update that application. And more, you're actually responsible for your own security of that data. And that is critical. So the Power Platform, it's made up of 4 parts, or superheroes if you will. The first one of these is Powerapps. Essentially the place you can come and build your own apps, link it up to all your data sources and release it to the business. I liken this to Tony Stark, also known as Iron Man. So he's the genius that basically built his own suits that enabled him to fight back better. And similarly, you can use Powerapps to build applications that can support your business better. Power Automate, the place you put the flows together. So if you're copying data around, Power Automate can do that for you. It simply looks, what's just happened, what's happened next. And I liken that to Batman. He is the guy that is an expert at putting plans together to beat impossible odds. I mean, he beat Superman. You can do the same by looking at your process and looking at the bits that you don't actually have to do and get Power Automate to do it, and therefore you beat time. Power Virtual Agents. Microsoft has given us the ability to get those answers to commonly asked questions by customers to the customers quicker. And the best example for this as a superhero is Alfred. So he's Bruce Wayne's butler, and he keeps Batman focused on the most important things. So similarly, with virtual agents, you can keep your teams free so the simple questions are dealt with automatically, and they can spend time with the guys that need it most. What might that do for your customer satisfaction scores? And then you've got Power BI. And Power BI for me is like Doctor Strange. He is the man in the Marvel universe that can see all the outcomes. He can look at all the data and make the decision that's right. That's kind of what Power BI does. So it will take all the data from all the stuff that's going on around the business and pulls it into one platform so you can visualize it and help make informed decisions.
And here's an example of some of them. There's over 200 data connectors here. Some of them are Microsoft, but a load of them aren't. It connects to software development tools, project management tools, social tools, video tools. Anywhere there's data, there's a chance we can get it in. And that's not just to Power BI, that is to the entire platform.
And I tell you from working in businesses for years and years, people love data and we don't make enough decisions based off it. So there you have it. The Power Platform, in my eyes, is just the same as the Avengers or the Justice League. Other analogies are available. But if we get back to your jobs. So like I said earlier, event management is the one I wanted to look at. I spent quite a lot of time with Matthew Want, who I hope you all know, who's helped me understand the process he goes through, and what I want to look at is how we can improve that and give him back time. I'm going to put a little advisory note here that says I was quite blown away by the size of this process, and it might take me a minute or two just to talk through it. So bear with me. So it starts with your delegate who enters his information and pays to come to the event. You're then manually invoicing them or chasing the payment if it hasn't come through. You are then taking the information provided and putting that into an Excel spreadsheet. You are then manually sending an email to them to say welcome. Then at a defined time a bit later on, you'll email everyone to tell them about the tours and events so they can go on. At that point, the delegates would go into a platform such as SurveyMonkey where they'll fill in the things they're interested in doing. You then enter that information into an Excel spreadsheet. You're then going to send an email to your delegates just to check the details are up to date and what name do they want on their badges.
Then you're going to get that spreadsheet across to your printing company.
At a certain time before the event, you'll send an agenda out to all the delegates yourself. You could also then want to email the delegates and just check is there anyone else you want to bring. If they say yes, they'll give you more data. You put that again into the Excel spreadsheet. You have to make sure the payment's dealt with. You manually send that information to each delegate on the hotel options. You make sure that if any delegates come from abroad, you make sure that they have the information they need to get into the country and get to the event. Then you're sending out the event joining instructions to all delegates. You're sending out the presentation and the details of the speaker of all delegates. You'll continue there to answer ad hoc questions. And maybe, just maybe, you might get to sleep at some point. So if you're looking at the slide here, I've colour-coded on purpose. The stuff the delegate does is in blue, but the stuff you as an executive assistant are doing is in yellow. Do you know how many times I said you in that? 15. It's a 19-stage process, and I said you 15 times. And my second pause here is I just want you to think about that process. We're all human. Mistakes get made. What would happen if the wrong bit of information went into the wrong part of the document? Probably nothing major, but it will have an effect on someone, and that someone is likely to be your customer. So I wonder, is that the sort of thing that might be keeping you and your executives up at night? So when we look at automating this, it's not just about making it easier, it's actually about making it more accurate and a better customer experience. Okay, so that is the current process that Matthew's going through. How could it look? Well, your delegates would start off with a really nice web interface where they enter all their details, what their name badge needs to say. That will then go into an automated online payment. That will trigger an automated welcome email to them, be personalised. That data will then import into the right place. Then at a time you decide, you send out an email that tells them about the event. The delegate would then fill in a nice online form and say what they want to do. That automatically puts the data in the right place. Then the automated agenda goes out. Then you can send out a nice email automated to say, would you like to bring anyone else? All automated. The delegates then fill in an online form about who's coming, makes the payment, and that data goes straight into the place you need it. Then we'll send out an automated hotel email. Maybe a little check-in email to say, hi, do you want to check your details are updated for your badge? If they reply to that, the details go right where they need to be. So when that email goes out to the badge company, you know it's right. We can also set up checks so that if you realise someone's coming from another country and you want to send them a bespoke email, that's completely automatable. And then you've got your joining email that will arrive 2 weeks before the event. And I don't know if you noticed, but the big change in that is there's no yellow. You've got blue for the delegate and you've got red for the software doing the automation. All the actions happen at the right time, all the data goes to the right place, and it's all very easy to access. You are in complete control of how you set that up to run, and you can monitor it all the time. But you could also be becoming more of that strategic business partner. Really understanding what it is your boss is trying to achieve. What can you take off their plate now that before you were far too busy to deal with? What new skills can you gain? Just think about it. How much more indispensable are you going to become to the business? But the process means nothing without the time attached to it. So me and Matthew sat down and thought about looking at the current process he goes through, how much time does he spend per delegate? And the answer is around 15 to 20 minutes per delegate. And there are 500 delegates. That's 125 hours, 3 weeks of managing this process. And that's just for one event. Imagine there's more events, 4, 5, 6, 7 across a year. Your customer is getting a much better experience. They're going from ad hoc emails that come through whenever you can get around to sending them to a really slick professional service. That does wonders for the business's brand. That could be the thing that really makes your event stand out. The thing that people go, oh, that was such an easy process. When people talk afterwards and go, oh, the booking on process was so simple, think about what that might mean for the company afterwards. And my third point is I really believe the people that will thrive are the people that will see the opportunity with this software, go to their bosses and say, listen, we can make the whole experience much better for internal and external customers. Your boss then gets to run a much more efficient business. How good will that be for your reputation? So I'm aware of how much information I've just thrown at you in the last 20 minutes. I've tried to make it a little bit more fun. I hope it was educational. I am online right now, so I'm here for all your questions. Failing that, you can email me here. It's fraser.nicoll@uncommonsolutions.tech. Or if you want to talk things through face to face, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I've got an online calendar. Just go through and find some time. I'm also pretty active on LinkedIn, so if you want to pop across there and say hello, that'd be great as well. And once again, thank you for coming to my session. I really hope it's given you food for thought about how you could maybe reimagine a couple of processes and create some time.